Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast, the ultimate blueprint to self-love and inner peace. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, and author, I've spent my life studying and learning from the stories that make us human. It's my passion and goal to help you shift your mindset and create a lifelong revolution to help you reach your greatest potential. What would happen if you gave yourself permission to be in the first position and prioritize yourself? Many deem the first position as a place of selfishness, but is it really? When done correctly, it absolutely is not. But what does it look like, and how do we get there in a way that is sustainable and long-lasting? I sat down with Coach Karen Casitlon to talk about her journey to prioritizing herself that started with these beautiful yet powerful words. Now, it's your turn. In this beautiful conversation, Karen guides each of us through making a shift in our lives, finding our inner stillness and power, and leaning into growth in a way that really allows you to put yourself in that first position and at the top of your priority list. So let's not waste one more moment. Let's dive right in. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast starts right now. We talk about relationships all the time here on the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast. But what we don't talk enough about is really kind of how to do that outside of just working through healing or prioritizing growth. So Karen, I'm so excited to have you on. This is a friendship that is in the making, and I'm so excited to have you here. So Karen, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
First of all, I love that you said this is a friendship in the making, because the first time that we spoke, I thought, okay, I love this woman. And yes, potential soul sister here. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. I am really an intuitive guide and a spiritual life coach. I will tell you that I hesitated to say spiritual life coach in the past for a lot of reasons. I'm not a big fan of the word coach, primarily because of the connotation other people place on that word.
Right.
Labels to me are not a big deal, but a lot of people do put importance on those labels. What an intuitive guide and spiritual life coach does is really help you find your own answers within. Those answers, your answers, are not my answers, and they're not Danielle's answers.
Right.
So I can give you the tools to help you find those answers. And I came to this to give just a short story of how I got here. I spent more than 2 decades in corporate America, climbed that corporate ladder, provided financially for my family. And then about 10 years ago, some things started happening in my personal life that made me realize, number one, I wasn't supposed to be in corporate America. And number two, I wasn't putting enough importance on those personal relationships that I know we're going to talk about. And that through the course of a couple of family tragedies, personal tragedies, became more and more clear. And so I began to put more importance on the personal relationships around me, and realized, actually, my sons helped me realize that I had spent my entire adult life taking care of everybody else. And it probably goes further back than that, but we'll stay there. And not taking care of me. My boys gave me a birthday card, 7 years ago, that basically said, you've done all this. Now it's your turn.
I have to sit in that for just a second.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that feeling reading that.
Yeah. And it becomes, I'm trying not to cry.
We love tears.
It became more important, more clear, more obviously a sign from the universe, because 4 weeks after I received that birthday card from my boys, my oldest son left this earthly plane. He died. And so that was really his last deep message to me was, it's your turn. Go follow your dreams.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Making the shift from now it's your turn, realizing in that moment, and then walking through the unthinkable for every mother.
Yep.
How does one make this shift?
It really, really helped me personally to have a strong spiritual foundation to
Right.
start with. I'm not sure how people go through the unbearable, which is what I have been through, without a connection to spirit, to the divine, to God, whatever word is comfortable for you. But through that, I had a mantra for a year that was, I am a beautiful, divinely designed, creative masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
We could
Mm-hmm.
unpack that for days. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so while going through this unbearable experience, I knew that I was created by the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And I also knew, I believe, because other people may not, that my son would not have left this earthly plane if he had not fulfilled his purpose here.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so that was a huge comfort to me. So if you don't believe that
Mm-hmm.
people are here with a purpose and stay until that purpose is fulfilled, think about why you don't.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge question. We could end it here and
Mm-hmm.
you could go off and have many hours of thoughts. And yet there's still so much I want to ask and so much that I know that our audience is listening to and thinking about at the moment. It is a massive shift. I know I've done it. We've talked about that,
Mm-hmm.
you and I, going from a place of everyone else is important, that hustle, that grind, that taking care of everyone, to getting so quiet and so still and
Mm-hmm.
finding yourself. Can you talk about that experience for you?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, still is one of my favorite words. My Facebook group is called Power and Stillness. And what we do in that group is really explore different tools to help us get still.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the reason that you need to get still, that everyone will benefit from getting still.
Right.
And that is, we all have, as I've already talked about, our answers
Right.
inside. But we live in a society that is so about productivity and busyness
Mm-hmm.
and go, 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 and achievement. And we get so busy that I know you've heard the term, I can't hear myself think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really the start of stillness, is to
Mm-hmm.
realize that you do have that still small voice inside, that quiet voice that guides you. If you want to call it intuition, intellect, gut
Mm-hmm.
instinct, if you're a religious Christian person, Holy Spirit, whatever, again, whatever term works for you. But that voice inside, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking here about our inner critic, which we all have.
Right.
I'm talking about the direction providing voice.
Right.
And to hear that voice, you have to be still, be
Mm-hmm.
quiet, be centered. And guess what? That requires giving yourself time, taking
Mm-hmm.
care of yourself.
And I would love to add, I believe, at least in my experience, not only for myself, but also with all of the women I've walked through that journey with,
Mm-hmm.
leaning into discomfort,
Yeah.
fear, especially.
And this is another one of those things where we could talk for hours about it.
Right.
And I know we've talked about this before, you and
Yeah.
I. When you are going through something like an unbearable tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing the best you can to keep breathing, keep getting
Right.
dressed, take a shower. At some point, and you're the one who knows the timing for this, you have to begin to feel those emotions.
Right.
Grief is something you do not get over. So please don't assume that you will get over it. It
Mm-hmm.
is something you
Mm-hmm.
learn to live with. There, and I'm going to miss her name, Jamie something. Sorry, says that grief is the price tag for having loved well.
Yes.
As you go through something unbearable or something that feels unbearable at the time,
Mm-hmm.
that is a comfort. It was a big comfort to me.
Right.
It's also a comfort to know, and I shared this with my two younger sons and my husband's the night that my oldest, Josh, passed away. Feelings are not good or bad, they just are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
once we're at a place where we feel like we can take on some of that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
once you begin to feel an emotion, it begins to dissipate within like what, 60 to 90 seconds, something like that.
90. Yep. 90
90.
seconds.
Okay.
Yep.
It may not feel like it, but
Right.
it is beginning to dissipate. And the only way out is through.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I also want to just put it out there. No matter what you are facing right now, whether it is the unbearable or it is a long-term exposure to trauma, to experiences that haven't worked for you, you can meet grief and you can meet these feelings of, I can't get out of bed. I can't do this. I can't face that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter because that's not the fair way to say it, but I want to say that no matter what you're experiencing, there is no code for how you should show up to it. You
Yeah.
show up as you are in the skill set that you have with everything that you are at that time